Hello, what is up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Silver the Hedgehog here, and I'm back for some more of yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Kirby Superstar Ultra for the Nintendo DS. So last time we have basically just went through both Spring Breeze as well as Gourmet Race. And overall, that was a really flawless run that we actually did done between both of those modes. So today, for this episode, is the fact that we're going to be moving on to the third game in terms of Kirby Superstar Ultra, which is Dyna Blade. Dyna Blade has disturbed the crops. There must be a reason, but first, this has to stop. So basically, we're going to be going through 5 stages of adventure await. Perfect for your copy and helper skills. Sorry for a little bit of a dialogue error for this point, guys, because let me tell you, it has been about likely or so 3 days ago since I actually did manage the last time I touched upon this game, and also doing a commentary as well. So either way though, yeah, let's get to it in Dyna Blade. And obviously, much like the original Super Nintendo version, is the fact that obviously we need to able to stop Dyna Blade's temper, and hopefully we're able to actually just to get him out of control and stuff like that. So, and you know, as far as you guys should notice is the fact that in terms of the difficulty star rating for this game, it's actually 3-star difficulty. So either way though, and as you can see, we ended up on a world map. And obviously the first level we're going to be hop into at the moment is Peanut Plains. And there are about 5 stages in total, like what the actual description tells us to. However though, there's going to be some 2 secrets involved, which one of them is actually involved around in stage 2, as well as stage 4. And even then though, we'll come across into those during at some points whenever we proceed to Dyna Blade. So, yeah, not much else to talk about at this point, guys, apart from the fact that today's day is, of course, the 4th of January today, in this case in 2021, and recently I managed to able to actually play myself on my own time, playing through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe recently for the Nintendo Switch for some online races, which I will say, I had a lot of blast playing it, especially noticeable because of how the fact that, well, God knows if Nintendo were able to make Mario Kart 9 at some point in the future, but then again though, we have to wait and see what happens there, because usually in some of these modern Mario Kart games released for about 3 years later syndrome, like obviously back then in 2005, obviously they released Mario Kart DS along the same year as when Mario Kart Arcade GP1 first came out in the arcade machines, and 3 years later, we got Mario Kart Wii, even though back in 2007 that we've got Mario Kart Arcade GP2, which is basically like the same thing as the first game, except, well, new characters and new courses and stuff like that. As well as, I wouldn't say the exact same items or something like that, but even then I haven't really looked upon that much of it though, because it is especially true whenever I manage to able to actually go back into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for some online matches and stuff like that, and had a really great time with playing it. Especially noticeable about the fact that I still need to get some more of those card customization kind of options and stuff like that before I go back onto the Wii U version for pretty much the same thing, except with the terrible item system aside. So either way though, and obviously as you can see that I seem to keep on exploring for certain spots, specifically for all these 1-ups and maximum tomatoes every once in a while, and everything else goes all fun and dandy for the most part. But it wasn't until whenever we get on to Wednesday, and especially noticeable on Friday, and possibly Monday, if it's possible, that we can probably take on the forms of the longest games of the bunch, which will have to be by the forms of the Great Cave Offensive, which we'll point things out whenever we get into that specific video later down the road. But either way though, we'll point things out later on. So, and also to top it off is the fact that, well, honestly, there's not much else I can honestly try to ask for, because, well, eventually by that point is the fact that we haven't exactly mentioned about more news or discussions for this point just yet, because, obviously, we've only just got started with, 2021. Although, recently yesterday is the fact that, you know, a good friend of mine, Sonic the Hedgehog, he's managed to able to go back into his redo Let's Play of Mario Party 3 recently, and all in all, he did manage to win the first board in that game, which appears to be, of course, Chilly Waters. And eventually, until this weekend, is the fact that he'll be taking on the forms of the second board, which was Deep Blooper Sea. Not the Deep Blooper Sea, but Blooper, which is basically is like a Japanese version of that specific blooper's name. I'm sure that Sonic will mention more about that until whenever he gets back into Mario Party 3 at some point during this weekend. So, but even then though, it should be pretty exciting. So, anyways, here we go on to the next stage, which appears to be Mellow Castle. And I get the feeling that this is one of those levels to able to feature a secret switch. And to do that, well, we need to get one of those copy abilities that we do need to get. That's what appears to be body forms of what else? A mirror copy ability. So that way we can able to just, well, try to use those little psychic powers, or in this case, mirror psychic powers, and in that way you can able to find yourself a secret switch. Although if you go down here though, I'm presuming this actually takes us to probably nowhere, aside from I'm also able to show off the ninja copy ability and stuff like that, even though despite I accidentally managed to got a duplicate right there, but oh well. But at least on the upside is though, is that obviously enemies do respawn if you manage to able to re-entering the room or just entering a different room and stuff, so at least you got that at least, so anyway though, so let's go ahead and swim downwards and grab the extra life and try to swim back up. And then if you manage to hook into a wall with the ninja copy ability, basically you just go ahead and just stick up into the wall and do some ninja skills, you know, just like how most ninjas always attempt to do. But either way though, enough about that. And let's go ahead and just fly up, although before I do anything else, I always have to make sure I have to double check on certain areas in case if I don't miss anything, because otherwise if I somehow miss everything up, well, I'm also able to actually just to come back for it and just do a jump cuts at the same time. So, anyways, we do need a mirror copy ability for this particular secret switch, and bust out this little bomb block, and that way it'll activate the entrance to a secret switch. And this way, this allows us to get into the forms of that particular secret area, which we'll probably show that off at some point once we're able to actually go back into the world map. But I'm sure if you ever following through our Let's Play of Kirby Superstar before, basically it's like a copy ability room. Specifically one of those copy ability room. So but even then, you probably get the idea of how that's gonna turn out to be. So, oh boy, we got an auto-scrolling section right there. But again, if you somehow die to this auto-scrolling segment, basically, luckily, you can able to actually respawn where the, I would say that the room you're actually going to be entering or something. I don't know, because it has been a while since I actually played certain Kirby games for a while, because, well, I just really hope that if Nintendo were able to make a 3D Kirby game for once, because I know most of the fans will expect to make it happen, which, if it does though, I am really going to be hyped for that. Especially noticeable after, you know, almost 3 years ago after the release of Kirby Star Allies for the Nintendo Switch. So, but even then though, that I don't usually normally count the side games, because usually I'm on about the main installments, because, well, I don't normally just manage to play the side Kirby games that often. Well, the only time exception being the forms of Kirby Dream Course, which is basically a Kirby golf game on the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom, for those who lived in Japan anyway, and also, Kirby's Ghost Trap, aka Kirby's Avalanche for, basically for the English versions, which is kind of weird that Kirby's Avalanche or Kirby's Ghost Trap never saw the light of day in Japan, because obviously in the Japanese release it obviously only contains Puyo Puyo. So, because you know, Puyo Puyo was actually pretty popular in Japan, so including some of those anime characters they obviously got. So, but I digress. Oh yeah, something worth mentioning is the fact that, by the way, if you manage to go ahead and just activate this with the hammer ability, basically that'll smash up the entire castle, and if you're entering this room, you get yourselves 3 extra lives. So that's very generous. And obviously in this gold game is the fact that you have to time your button press until you're able to get fired out of the cannon, and that way you can able to actually go any kind of number as you go to. Oh yeah, there are some rare occasions where there are some mini bosses, intruders managed to able to wandering around the map. So in that way, once you deal with that particular boss, then you get a freebie 1-up. So how's that for that one? Especially noticeable how the fact that the Kirby series is always generous when it comes to extra lives. Well, some exceptions mind you, by the forms of well, let's just say Kirby's Dream Land 1, but either way though, I have no idea why I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, that's the Trail Room 1, or Trial Room as far as I like to mention that. But anyways, now let's move on to the 3rd stage, which is of course Coca Cave, as you can tell from the bottom screen, as you can see on screen. So but either way though, we can expect we need to just, well, not get hit too many times, and in addition to that, once we're done with that level, we can probably move on to the 4th stage. So, yeah, again, there's not much else we can say in terms of Dyna Blade. It's kind of like Spring Breeze, except the fact that we are dealing with a different villain, as opposed to King Diddy. So, but you know, you get the idea of how that usually turns out to be. So, especially noticeable how the fact that those of you ever watched the episode in, let's just say, Kirby Right Back at Ya, I do remember one of those episodes, they did manage to include Dyna Blade. Let me know in the comments below about the fact that what that episode is called, because I know it has been quite a while since I actually watched the show itself. Even though, despite the fact that we actually got copyright claims onto one of those episodes already, which is kind of unfortunate. But I do remember for about 10 years ago, actually, that while Nintendo did manage to release Kirby TV channel back on the Nintendo Wii days, back in 2011, and as far as I'm aware, it actually contains every single episode in Kirby Right Back at Ya, which I do remember that channel was actually super cool and hyped. However though, every once in a while though, is that everything else gets discontinued every now and then, which is kind of unfortunate and sad at the same time because, well, unfortunately for the UK audiences though, is the fact that, well, they don't have any options left in terms of watching Kirby Right Back at Ya anime series, which, it is super recommendable though, for those of you ever become a Kirby fan, including us, either way. But it's just kind of a shame that things have to move on, so... Well, fortunately though, if you decide to get lucky to able to get Kirby's Dream Collection for American Wii, or the Japanese Wii I should say, well, to be more specifically the American NTSC Nintendo Wii version of Kirby's Dream Collection, you would able to actually get yourselves 3 episodes, so... At least, to be more specifically, in Kirby's History option, so... At least you do have that particular option though, but again, I just don't get it why UK doesn't seem to able to get some games like these. Like, obviously it makes it a little bit obvious why Mario Super Sluggers never saw the light of day in the UK countries, because of baseball was actually pretty popular in America. And, I have no idea why Kirby's Dream Collection never saw the light of day in the UK version either. I think it's probably because of the forms of, well, it's kind of hard to say honestly, because even then though, it has been about a few years since I remember the forms of Kirby's Dream Collection, even though I was originally trying to get that at some point in 2017, but unfortunately though, that does not look like it's going to be the case sadly, although I wish I'd like to. But, and also trying out some new challenge stages based off from Kirby's Return to Dreamland and stuff like that. But, unfortunately though, it might be pretty hard to get every now and then, but... Oh well. So anyways, here we go, just face off against with, Bugsy here. And, obviously we're able to... Oh, we still got Ice ability. That doesn't make that much sense to me, but, oh well. Alright. Ah, dang it. I was a bit too late. I'm not very good when it comes to those particular goal mini-games like these, especially because I blame on the emulator for that. But either way though, now let's move on to stage 4, which is Candy Mountain. And much like stage 2, it also contains a secret switch, which I think it does require a fire copy ability, which for we remember that ever since in Kirby Superstar Let's Play. So even then though, well, at least on the Super Nintendo version either way. So, but either way though, we'll go ahead and leave it to that. And I guess there's not much else I can talk about. Well, at least whenever we get onto the new games included in this game, well, to be more specifically, few new stuff that how this version of the game actually offers us to, it will be pretty interesting and hyped at the same time whenever we get into those, so... But I digress. Another thing I should probably talk about this as well is that, one thing that, I'm assuming me or Sonic the Hedgehog has not even mentioned about this already, ever since in, well, the first part of this already, and also Mario Party 3, recently that Super Smash Flash 2, well, despite the fact that the actual, Adobe Flash player is pretty much discontinued now, which, it kinda sucks, honestly, because I remember so many good times with, the Flash player, meaning that you can able to watch, Flash videos, Flash animation, and also save applies to what else? Flash games. But it's kind of unfortunate about the fact that things has to move on, especially because, although luckily for me, I still managed to able to actually access to Super Smash Flash EXE, and also Super Smash Flash 2. And speaking of Super Smash Flash 2, they actually managed to release a brand new update for Super Smash Flash 2, which is, one of them is actually a new fighter of all things, because it has been a while since we actually seen a new fighter announcement ever since in February, and stuff like that, for the sake of time. And also a new stage, and, well, I suppose that's all I can honestly try to think about for the sake of that discussion. And, well, one of the fighters actually included is Ganondorf, which I think is actually a really good choice, because back in Super Smash Flash 1, obviously the only Zelda-themed characters they obviously got is both Link, Zelda, and Young Link, which it's pretty obvious because it's actually based off from Super Smash Bros. Melee from, you know, Super Smash Flash 1. But, you know, you get the idea of how this is actually going to be turned out to be. Oh, wait a second. Actually, for that fire ability, all you can really get on that particular cannon, segment is just, basically just health items and all that stuff. Yeah, this is why I was pointing things out right away. It's pretty easy to miss that particular switch if you have a first time playing for the game. So, but even then though, obviously if you're following for our Let's Play of the Super Nintendo version already, then you probably would able to find out no problem, so... And then, for that particular secret switch that I've activated, this will obviously lead us to another copy ability room, except it usually calls it like a trail or trial room 2, which, it seems pretty obvious for that, for the sake of the actual name for that particular level, so... Again, hopefully until when it gets to the point until the Great Cave Offensive, I would able to actually just get into a much more better emphasis on commentary because, well, I just want to point it out. So, oh yeah, something's worth mentioning for this point as well is that I'm very grateful about the fact that, well, unlike the Super Nintendo version of Kirby Superstar, basically it's the fact that every time whenever you get into a new fresh game on certain game segments in the entire game, basically is the fact that you'll be forced to able to actually see that notification saying about the fact that well, it's actually your first time playing the game and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't usually happen this time around for the sake of this remake, like all the time, but the only time you can only see that is of course Spring Breeze. Okay, that's a bit weird. Anyway though, yeah, because unlike the Super Nintendo version, you'd be constantly going to be seeing that this your first time playing notification every single time whenever you get into a new games and stuff like that. but that doesn't seem the case too much this time around for this game. It only happens just once in Spring Breeze if you manage to able to decide about that. But then again though, it has been donkey's years since I actually last touched upon this remake, because obviously I just got a bit of some side effects with you know, some new titles coming out for it and all that stuff that I was really hoping I could try out and all the other jazz. So anyways, and I think I don't get the feeling I might not get a 1 there, so oh well, at least we'll take a 1-up as this. So there we go. And it looks like we've already got about 1 more level left, which is kind of funny because obviously we actually got into this particular game quite fast and easy. So anyways, let's get into Dyna Blade's next, the final level in Dyna Blade. So, well, at least in terms of that particular Dyna Blade segment in Kirby Superstar Ultra. So I'm gonna keep my hammer copy ability for now on, and my partner companion is of course burning Leo. So even then, let's go ahead and just burn this Dyna Blade down with simply just have to charge up our hammer attack, and hopefully that should deal some bit of damage. And in fact, the hammer ability was actually kind of overpowered in this, which even then I'm quite surprised that's usually the case. So there he goes, Dyna Blade, and of course we got ourselves those little baby, well, I don't know how you're gonna call these guys because it has been a while since I actually played some Kirby stuff after all. And basically, this is how the ending goes for Dyna Blade. So, and I can assure you, I'm pretty sure that Wispy Words were able to actually, well, Kirby can able to actually just, well, get some apples out for them and just try to make them a little bit hungry. And, well, they just simply just fly and stuff like that. So, again, I must admit that I do apologize for the actual commentary. It gets a bit, well, iffy at points still, but even then, regardless of everything else though, I think that we actually did that pretty good. And so far, we didn't lose a single life so far in terms of Kirby Superstar Ultra so far. Even though it gets progressively harder until whenever we get into the ending portion though, however though, so yeah, we'll point things out whenever we get into those kinds of stuff. So anyway, so much like the forms of Spring Breeze, it does say to be continued at the ending sequence, so, but even then, no, let's want to point things out. So, I guess we should probably end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Kirby Superstar Ultra. Is the fact that we're going to be moving on onto the longest games of the entire set, that what appears to be the Great Cave Offensive. And I believe, much like the original Super Nintendo version, we have to get all 60 treasures. So, best of luck. So I'll see you guys until on Wednesday. Later, fellas.